So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. We got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
She was talking about 32 days to the election. And she goes, there are 32 days. Oh my God. I just lost a teller. 32. Then she, 32, 32, 32, 32. And I said, what the hell happened to her? Nobody's leaving. I always watch. If they start to leave, I just end the speech. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make America great again. Enjoy yourself. No, I do that because oftentimes I lose the teleprompter. You know, teleprompters go out, but she lost the teleprompter last week. Did you see it? She was talking about 32 days to the election, and she goes, there are 32 days. Oh my God. I just lost a teller. 32. Then she, 32, 32, 32, 32. And I said, what the hell happened to her? And then the teleprompter kicked back on. 32 days to the election. You don't want this for your president. I lose teleprompters probably 5%, 10% of the time. Sometimes I'll be in front of 50,000 people. I'll lose a teleprompter. You got to wing it. You know what you got to do. And you can't say, I just lost my teleprompter. Ladies and gentlemen, how about Biden if he loses his teleprompter? So he goes, do you ever see him lose it? Because they do go off, you know, especially outside. The wind is blowing. I had one in Ohio, Bernie Moreno. I think he has a good chance of winning, by the way. And the teleprompter, it was like 45-mile-an-hour winds and rainy, miserable. And I'm saying, I can't believe. We had a tremendous crowd. In fact, he went to first place when I made that speech. And it's going back and forth like this. And you couldn't read it. You ever try reading? And then they blew off the stage. I'm stuck up there. I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have just lost our teleprompters. I hope you enjoy the rest of the speech. And we made a speech, and all I know is he won. He ended up winning the primaries. That was right before the primaries. mass exodus of manufacturing jobs, but from Mexico to Michigan, from Shanghai to Sterling Heights, And from Beijing to right here in beautiful Detroit. Wait till you see Detroit. And they'll also be going to places like South Carolina, Tennessee, and others. We have a lot of car-making states, a lot of parts-making states, too. And our car industry will have a renaissance, the likes of which we have never seen before in this country. We have never seen since the golden years. It's my goal to get our country on an automaking path where at some point in the near future, it will be bigger and more important than it ever was. And even in its heyday, many years ago, it was unbelievable. I think we can be bigger and more important because we have some very, very great assets. And this is very personal for me. Personal. One of the reasons is because I've been talking about it for 20 years. I can't believe it happened. That was when I was honored, that's all I talked about. I was watching this happen. It was, at that time, Japan. Japan was just taking our cars like we were a bunch of babies. I always say candy from a baby. That's how easy it was. Now it's Japan, but it's China, and it's a lot of countries. This was one of the biggest reasons I ran for president in the first place. You know, it was probably the auto industry that was most abused. You were the most abused. There are a lot of industries that are abused. We stopped it, but now I could put the brakes on. Not only stop, I now know the game a little better. You know, I had never been a politician before. I got to the White House. I said, yeah, I've never done this before, but I had to learn, and I had some great people. Bob Lighthizer was great, our trade representative, but we had some people that I didn't like, I wouldn't have picked in retrospect. We had some clinkers, but you have to understand, I just got there. I was only in Washington 17 times, and I never stayed over. So I wasn't a part of Washington society. It wasn't my thing. I was a New York person, developer, did great. And I knew New York, but I didn't know Washington. So I had to rely on people. Sometimes I'd rely on rhinos, and that's what I'd get. I'd get a rhino. And that wasn't so good. But we had mostly great people, but we had some ones that I would not have again. And we're going to finish the job that we really brilliantly started, because we had numbers that the ambassador gave you some of them. I don't want to bore you by going through it, but he gave you some numbers that were unprecedented. I intend for the triumph of the American auto industry to be among my greatest legacies. I want it to be a legacy.